what is up, everybody? Welcome to another sweet podcast episode, Civil Engineering Academy podcast. We appreciate you being here. If you're listening to this, wherever you are, give us a like, give us a review. Those things go a long way. And if we need to help you on your own journey to become a professional civil engineer, definitely check us out at civilengineeringacademy.com. Also, our YouTube channel, we got free resources there. But our main website has all the goodies, included courses for your FE, your PE. We got good stuff in the works for seismic, as well as survey for California examinees, and other good stuff coming your way. So we're excited about it. Anyway, today's episode is going to be a good one. I'm actually on a trip, so apologize for the graininess sometimes when you kind of just make things work when you got to. But it's going to be a good one because today we're talking specifically about the 2022 Squared Report, which they published in 2023. So it's kind of a look back at everything to do with your exams. And so we're going to talk about the numbers and everything else. I bring my brother Mark on. Let's bring him on right now, and we will get right to it. All right,
Hey,
what's going on, Mark?
Hey, thanks for bringing me on. It's always a good time.
Yeah, so I love talking about this because it really is the world that we're in. Many people are taking these exams. They want to kind of know the temperature of where things are at, and the NCEES does a good job of putting out a publication once a year talking about really just the state of professional licensure, but they dive into the numbers on examinees and kind of some other fun stats. And we did a big blog post on our website about this a couple weeks ago, but I always like to podcast it about it, and that's why I'm bringing you on to kind of hammer it out. So thanks for doing
that. So should we grind through some of the numbers that they've published?
Yeah, let's kind of just walk through this report. I think the fun thing to talk about, maybe kick it off, is maybe that president and CEO message. They always talk about the revenue. Obviously, they're in the mode to make some money, but he talks about, the president there, Brian, talks about they have lower volume. So what's his thoughts there?
Yeah, so lower volume. We're seeing fewer people actually, trying to get licensed, and we're seeing fewer people, taking the FE and the PE test. A lot of that is, I think, attributed to the impacts that we've seen from COVID-19, right? The dreaded COVID that we've gone through the last few years. It's just everybody's hunkered down and riding that out, and that's what they kind of attribute these lower numbers, these lower turnouts as far as testing. I think that's what they attribute most of the impact to. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. This report comes out in 2023, but it really is for the numbers of 22, and still your effects of COVID are still lingering. So
yeah,
every time they, if they're talking about enrollment numbers being down, they're attributing that to COVID issues.
Yeah.
So.
But they are touting their ability. They made the transition to CBT, right? Computer-based testing before the COVID hit, and they feel like that was a nice transition before all of that crap hit the fan. And so they're kind of touting that as an achievement for them, right? Being able to get over that CBT testing format.
Yeah, I think the last exam is the SE exam they're trying to convert, which I believe is happening in 2024.
Okay.
So
yeah, they bumped that a little bit. And that one's, logistically, it's just that's the toughest one to make the conversion on, so that makes some sense.
Oh man. Yeah, and I've already heard feedback on that some people aren't happy the way they've got it formatted, but we'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, it'll take a while to get the kinks out.
But just in general, just so people know, they talk about in this report that the NCEES is made up of 69 licensing boards that regulate engineering and surveying in the United States. So it's a big group of people that help, put forth the policies and kind of steer the ship on professional licensure in the United States. So big group of people. I don't know anyone personally that's part of that. Do you? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't either. I don't either. I mean, I'm associated with quite a few people in industry, as you know, and even at the University of Utah, I have some connections up there, and I don't know anybody involved with that. So
Yeah. Well, they're always big on promoting licensure. They dive into that quite a bit, but I think the real interesting stuff is if we dive into the actual exam numbers. So I'm going to jump down actually to page 13 of the report that they
yeah,
have,
so
and they have a breakdown of all the examinees that took the exam.
yeah, this is the
And
interesting part to me.
in the last year, oh, go ahead.
I would just say this is the interesting part to me, just to see the
Yeah, I mean, they're
stats from previous. So just over 44,000
yeah, they're
people took the FE this last year versus 48,746. So considerably lower, 10% lower than what they've had before. So you see there, Isaac?
yeah, and they don't list any reasons why. It looks like, I mean, they do list the impact of COVID-19, so I think that's what they're chalking up lower numbers to. But everything is really down except for surveying stuff.
Yeah, and as you and I have discussed before, I think generally across the engineering industry as a whole, there's been kind of a drop in enrollment at universities and different things like that that may be playing a little bit of a role here as well. I know university engineering programs are concerned about that and trying to generate more interest from kids coming out of high school about STEM degrees in general, but some of these departments are trying to generate specific interest in engineering, and so I think there's some pressure from that side of things too that are driving some things down.
Yeah, and I think specifically for our industry, which is civil engineering, you're doing outreach to try to get people to come to that. And, what's dominating the news right now, at least in my opinion, is, AI and being part of the tech industry, electric cars, things of that nature. Civil engineering isn't touted as a sexy profession. So, you never
Yeah, but
seeing the latest road and stuff like that.
yeah, but it undergirds everything that society sits on, rides on, lives in, and so yeah. So I know there's efforts to help bring people's attention more and more to that kind of stuff so that it does become, a little more sexy, but yeah, I think that's having an impact. I think you're right.
Yeah, for sure. You want to walk down some of these numbers?
Yeah. So if we look at next, so we talked about the FE. So we went from 48,746 down to 44,079 is what we've had in this past year. So that's down 10%. Those that took the PE exam, including the PE structural exam, was down 15%. So, there was only 31,078 people that took that this last year versus, let's see, what was the number for the previous year, Isaac? I don't think they've got that there. It's down 15% to 31,078, and then the PE structural was down 12% from 2488. The FS was up 7%, and the PS was up 24%. So the survey tests looks like those were up, actually. So how do you explain that?
I get the feeling that maybe there's more interest in the surveying route these days. I don't know. Maybe it's being out in the field. Maybe there's just more interest in it.
I don't know that one. Well, and that may correlate with the COVID-19 stuff. I maybe there's, the survey guys are outside and they're not restricted, right? To
Yeah.
I don't know, keeping this 6 foot of distance between everybody and masking up because they're already outside. who knows? Who knows? But that's interesting that the survey tests are up while everything else is down.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. So yeah, overall lower examinees in general except for that surveying. So I mean that's exciting for the survey group. I think there's more technology involved there too, and I think maybe that's more attractive. You know, maybe not more technology, but drones and LiDAR. Maybe there's some additional
Well,
interest there.
I can see some of that. I mean, I've got a sizable project going on in Park City right now, and we've been implementing some new tech in our survey process, and this is just construction surveying. So we have benchmarks, we have existing job site control, we call it, and there's just a lot. I don't know. They're fancier ways than when I started in the industry of keeping track of existing control and then relating that control to actual layout on the job site and transferring points up from level to level is just, with the data collectors and the instrumentation that they've got now, including, like you're saying, the drones. I've got my project engineers, they fly their drones every single morning, every single night to document progress, and they can do survey with those things. But the data collectors, as you get, the actual CAD drawings and data collectors and the instrumentation that's required for surveying. I mean, they got some pretty cool stuff. And so it is more tech, I guess, IT oriented these days. And you're right, that maybe that's some of the attraction with that. But I'm definitely seeing it on job sites and in the projects that I'm involved with. That area of construction is definitely high tech, baby.
Yep.
It's fun.
So yeah, I guess overall numbers are down. Then they go into touting, I guess, switching things to or expanding computer-based testing. Because of COVID, they pushed the PE exam to CBT 16 months earlier. Which was seen as a good step. They converted a bunch of other engineering PE exams to CBT, but the last is still structural engineering, which isn't going to CBT till 2024. So it's still paper-based.
Yeah. And so I got to believe that's still going to be 2 8-hour sessions. They're still going to keep that general format. They'll just, they'll get everything CBT based, and it'll be interesting to see how they come up with the different formats for answering questions, right? I got to believe it's not just going to be multiple choice on everything. There's going to have to be, other formats of delivering answers to specific design questions. And so it'll be interesting to see what they come up with on that.
Yeah, I think there's some recent articles, people that were involved with it, and I think they've reduced the 8-hour time to a 6-hour time for over 2 days. But I think there's a little bit of conflict on how they're doing it. So we'll maybe do a future episode talking specifically about
Yeah, once they iron all that out, that'll be interesting to cover.
Let's dive into this. So page 17 on the report, they talk about international exam administration agreements. So, being recognized as a professional engineer throughout the world seems to be growing. And so the NCEES has partnered with other exam administrations to offer your exams in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Canada, which is a big one. Egypt, you could take it there. The Emirate of Sharjah, I'm not even sure where that is.
Yeah.
Is that part of the UAE? I don't know. Japan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, Taiwan, and Turkey. So if you're living in any of those countries, you can earn the PE license.
Yeah. And that's cool to see that there's that international collaboration. NCEES has established themselves as as a force in the industry. I mean, they set the standards for testing and accreditation and exam administration, right? And so it's just it's kind of cool that these other countries recognize that. And I mean, a lot of it's they want to piggyback on work that's already been done, right? And standards that have already been established, which is fine. But and it probably makes some sense that Canada is the preeminent international, I guess, jurisdictions: Alberta, British Columbia, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, those Saskatchewan. It probably makes sense that they're the biggest international group that's joining up with NCEES. But yeah, these other ones are interesting too. Japan.
I thought we'd see more Philippines and stuff because they use U.S. standards and things like that as well. So
that's a good point.
I don't know why
The Indonesia area. Yeah, in Indonesia and those areas. Yeah. I think we still call that the Pacific Rim, don't we? Those areas.
Yeah. So they tout that they have 17 regional sites across the United States and that they've got 16 foreign entities to administer licensing in 9 countries outside of the U.S. So, speaking from experience running Civil Engineering Academy, I have had students reach out in other countries that are taking the PE exam. It's always been interesting to hear their experiences. As recently as yesterday, there's a guy from Japan wanting to know how to take it. So it definitely has a broader reach than I think we think it has.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And hopefully that list increases in number. It'd be cool to have more of an international influence, international presence for these standards.
For sure. Another thing that they mentioned in the report is advancing mobility with records and CPC tracking. So CPC is their acronym for continuing professional competency. I think most of the world uses continuing ed or professional development hours. I don't know why we use CPC. It's first and the only ones I hear using it, but
yeah,
that's what they use to track it.
Right. So do you have an NCEES record, Isaac?
I use it to keep track of my PDH hours. I think it's very easy to just put your stuff in there and then you don't have to worry about it. I don't have to file it in a file that I forget about. And if you ever get audited, then it's just there for you.
And I've used the records program to help me get licensing in other states completed, licensing by reciprocity or comedy, whatever you want to call it. And having an NCEES record has helped me facilitate that. So I'm licensed in pretty much all the Western United States. And I got my NCEES record. Oh, it's probably been 13, 14 years ago now. And so getting licensed in Nevada, it really helped me with that. My Montana license, I remember it really helped me facilitate that. So that's where I've benefited from actually having an NCEES record. But I haven't used it for CPC tracking. I need to probably start doing
I like it because it's easy. You can upload your PDF document, just log how many hours and you're done. So I don't need to store it in a file or lose it somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to keep track of things. So I'm still old school, they some of these things, these industry events that I attend where I get continuing education credits or CPCs, I usually get a certificate, and it's still on paper. And then I save that in a file at work. And so that's how I accumulate my hours. So
Yeah.
I need to look at that. That's probably a good resource that I need to start using.
I mean, it works.
Yep. You know,
Yeah, it's what keeps me
that,
logged in.
that's a good tip. Good advice.
Um, the other thing that the report dives into, I guess, a little bit is um, trying to inspire future generations. The NCEES shells out a lot of money to schools and such and support programs to help inspire people to become professional surveyors or professional engineers. So, they're heavily involved with that and with various youth groups as well. So, I think that's just part of an ongoing initiative to spread the word. So, money is being passed out to different schools based on some of the achievements that they've awarded and things of that nature. But um, I don't know anybody that's ever won any of those things, but or even how to apply for them. But I just know that they do hand out money to help efforts to grow in
Yeah.
the world.
It looks like they focus their efforts on this Discover E um, organization that puts on little events for K through 12 initiatives and other initiatives where, they go out to schools and set up exhibits and set up little examples of, how engineering is represented in the community, is represented with all our infrastructure and everything that the kids use probably on a daily basis, showing them how things get built and different things. And so they support that as a, um, as an organization that's reaching out to these kids and trying to show them the benefits of engineering and hopefully spark their interest. So it's good. They've also supported Math Counts, another foundation that obviously in the name you can tell what they do. They support curriculum and subjects and studying math and all of the careers that math supports. Obviously, that's going to be STEM type careers: science, technology, engineering, and math. But that's another organization that they support. So it's all good. I mean, it's stuff that's needed, right?
Cool.
The younger generation needs to always be inspired. Needs to see what the world around them and how it got there, how the infrastructure that we all take for granted and everything around us and the products, the objects, the surfaces that we drive on, the buildings that we live in, it helps to point all those things out to the young ones and get them to understand that stuff, and it piques their interest. So it's good that they're involved with that.
Awesome. Well, we'll touch on this last piece, but basically they tout that they have got a podcast, that's out there that's called Advance, an NCEES podcast. I found it funny because I interviewed the director there before they had any podcasts, and he was over the exams. Miller, if you want to check out that episode, we can link that in the show notes. But after that, this was like right when COVID was kind of hitting and things were getting nuts. But after that, they started doing their podcast series. So, that's cool that they have that. But
so you were the one that initiated that, really, right?
maybe I prodded them to do that because they can get the word out a little faster.
Yeah, you at least inspired them. Yeah, that's cool.
So, along with that, they kind of tout their social media outreach and things of that nature. So, good for them, gets the word out. But
yeah,
anyway, I guess as a whole, it's interesting to see these numbers, to see what's down, to see what's people are taking, how many people are taking the exams and things of that nature. But that really kind of rounds out the report. I don't know, Mark, is there anything else you want to add?
Well, I would just conclude with I will try to follow up with another podcast on the next report, but it'll be interesting to see if these trends continue or if they get reversed. I think if they if they show, a little better positive trend in the positive direction, maybe we can attribute to some of the downturn to COVID-19, and hopefully that's the case, and it's not more of a systemic type thing that's going on where we're just not getting people interested in engineering like we need to, and hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we see an upward trend the next time we look at this. So
Right. Yeah. Become an engineer if you're thinking about it. It's a good place to be.
it is.
Very steady. Your pay can increase
Yeah.
as you get experience, and
Very rewarding career path.
so. All right, Mark. Well, thanks for doing this with me, and we'll catch you in another one.
Okay. Thanks again, Isaac.
All right. See ya.